Hi there, it's Heather from the Brantford Library. In your kit, you'll find some paint, some clay, and a pattern outline. You're going to want to protect your surface. I used a plastic mat and a cutting board. Over top, I will lay some of the saran that wraps your clay. You'll need a couple extra things: a rolling pin, small piece of sponge, a paintbrush. I have a plastic paddle that I'll use to score, found in my junk drawer. And then we'll need a little bit of water just to smooth out your edges.
So I've got that small piece of clay that I've cut from the block. Remember to keep that clay wrapped at all times. We're going to put it inside this little Ziploc and just pour in a tiny bit of water. Make sure you've got it nicely sealed, and you can start to make your slip. Just rub it about inside that bit. Now that our slip is made, we can go on to rolling out the clay. I've put the outer layer of saran wrap down over the plastic cutting board, and I'm going to slip this pattern piece underneath the saran wrap, just so when you're rolling, you get a good idea of the size that you need. Keep this extra saran here to wrap up your extra pieces. And there we go. We've got that down. I think I'm going to divide it in two and see if we can get our piece out of that. We want to make sure that we keep it about a 1/4 inch thick, because if you don't, things start to split when you get to the cutting and the manipulating of the clay. So as you can see, this piece of clay now completely covers the pattern piece. We'll take it out from underneath, put it on top, and cut out that square. Remember to wrap up all those extra pieces. Keep them nice and moist by not letting the air come on them. Then we're going to come back to this and we're going to cut our tabs. Okay? So you're just going to take that knife and slice. Take the knife and slice. So at this point, before we continue, you can straighten up any of those edges, clean it up a little bit. I've got some rough edges on this side. And I'm just gonna clean them up a little bit before we start our scoring. Okay. Now to score, I am using this green paddle sort of thing. You can use a toothpick, you can use forks, you can use whatever you want. Now there's two ways you can do it. You can fold this tab under, or you can fold it over. If you're going to fold it over, you score on the solid piece. If you're going to put the tab under, you're going to score the tab. Okay, I think I want to try putting my tabs under, so I will score each individual tab. And you can use toothpicks, forks. I'm using this little plastic paddle thing I found in the junk drawer. And just score it up the way I'm doing here. Okay, it just gives your slip, the glue that you made, a little bit more to stick to. Some traction. Now you can see I've flipped it over, and on the back side, the first thing I'm going to do is smooth out a couple of these wrinkles. Just going to put my finger in this little bowl of water and smooth things around a little bit. And then we need to score the back side where these tabs will attach so that you've got line against line. So we're going to make a little triangle beside the tab. So I'll just score down like this. I'm going to do it both ways just so there's a little bit more traction. It's okay if your lines extend too far. We can smooth those out once we get everything attached. Remember, you're going beside the tab. There we go. Your back side is complete. So we've flipped it back to the front. This is the front of the dish. And we're going to get that nice slip, our glue, and we're going to spread it right onto those lines. I'm going to use my little paddle thing and just paint it right on, get all the lumps and clumps so that you have a nice thick glue that you can put right on there. Do all four corners, all four tabs, getting a nice mix, kind of like spreading icing on your corners. Doesn't matter if it looks messy, it all gets taken care of in the end. So now the tricky part, we're gonna take each corner and press them gently together. You don't want to push hard enough to lose that shape, but you do want to push firmly enough that that tab is attached to the back. So we're going to go all the way around and put those corners together. Stubborn little tab here that seems to want to split. So I'm just gonna tuck a little more slip around there and see if we can't glue that back together. These are temperamental little beings. Okay, so just pull your edges up a little bit. You know, if you have something and you want to prop up those edges, you can do that as well. I think I'll go get some little glasses. So I think I'd like to try to make a little emblem to stick in the middle here. I've rolled out a little bit more of the clay, and I'm just going to try and press something into it and see if I can make a little design to stick in the center there. So I pressed a brooch into here. It's really not that great. The bird didn't come out, but there is just a slight leaf pattern here. So I think I'll try and cut out that leaf pattern and put it in the center there. So I think I want to put it just about here in the middle, and I'll need to score the back side of the medallion and the bottom of the little dish. I'm going to try and hold on to the edges so as not to ruin that little leaf pattern on the front. And I'm going to score it in 2 or 3 different directions just to make sure that grip is there. Then you're going to get that slip on your finger, rub it onto the back of that medallion, and put it exactly where you want it. Give it a little press, being really, really careful not to disturb the actual pattern that you created in the clay. Now I see some of the slip has come out around the edges. Once I'm pretty sure this is firmly in there, I am going to take a little paintbrush and just run, you can use your finger, just run around that edge, clean it up a little bit. Okay. There we go. I think that we're ready to let this piece dry. There's a little lump here. I'm just going to wipe out a bit. There we go. I'm going to put this glass back here to hold this edge up. And this is ready to dry. Now you probably have a little bit of clay left, and there's lots of other things that you could do. I'm not brave enough, but you could flip it over and you could make little feet for it. You might want to make them in a little ball shape. You could put 3 or 4 on the bottom. You might instead like to have a little tiny block foot, in which case I would probably make this a little bit bigger and then slice it into 4 so that all your feet are the same size. You might want to make more of a cone shape to place in the middle of your dish instead of a medallion like that, which you can shape however you like. Put that in, and it's a little easier to slip your rings on if that's what you'd like to do. So lots of things to do with those little bits of clay. We're going to let this dry, and our next step will be just to add a little paint. So folks, looks like we're all done now. I've painted around the edges, and inside here I just painted and wiped it off to get paint within the imprints. I gotta say, I'm not really happy with this air dry clay. There's a lot of cracks. It looks okay, but I am disappointed. I hope you guys have better luck and send me some pictures. It's hbrown@brantfordlibrary.ca. Take care. Bye.